So any questions? Tim?
Yeah, I think it's a great panel. I like the sort of combination of research engagement for some three different kind of areas. And so one of the things I sort of wanted to talk a little bit about is we tend to sort of focus on in research engagement about our own collections. I think particularly once we move into the realm of digital, now our students and faculty have access to digital content from across the globe at archives, and they may be working on a digital scholarship project that may mine some of the things in our special collections. They're likely to be mining things from anywhere around the world. I think one of the challenges is that we have these great subject experts and curatorial experts in their fields, but they tend to focus on the custodial piece, not the sort of post-custodial piece. So I'll start with Tom, Hyry, but any of the panelists can sort of jump in on this. But I sort of like to see your philosophy on how to get your special collections folks and archives focused on providing service beyond just the archival materials they have custody.
Thanks, Tim. I think that's a great struggle. It's a great question. I think your vision is right there. I think the struggle is really real because the custodial obligations are immense, right? And I think the model that we've been using is kind of a networked model in we take care of our stuff in a sort of, the traditional model is we take care of our stuff with the idea that it will fit into a broader network, not in a computer sense. But I like to think that we would want our collections and our metadata to be in as many places at once, to be ecumenical about that. And but in my setting, we don't control the systems that provide access to our digital content. That's done by the central library, the central university, and so in some ways, maybe one answer I would have for you is that's a productive conversation with our colleagues in the central library as we go on. But yes.
Some of the follow-up kind of piece of that is I kind of think about it like that. When you have a researcher comes to you and was wanting to work on a project like that, we don't have any content to help you. You're trying to get your librarians or archivists to think about, well, let's see what is the greater universe out there that is out there in the archive. Sometimes I feel like we sort of answer the questions very specifically to our own organization and not to the raw corpus of knowledge that is available to our organization.
If I could speak in response to what you've been saying, sort of the end of your talk, and thinking about the custodial mission as opposed to the outreach mission. I mean, you don't have to create the perfect interface, and you don't. In other words, special collections are not doing this alone. So when you mentioned Wiki Commons, you mentioned Europeana, you mentioned the places that and you mentioned you have an API, and actually I want a license, if we could talk about that later. But
we're so open, you don't need a license. Everyone has a license.
Okay, good. So, I don't know, I didn't get enough time or I was worried about time, but the Advanced Research Consortium is made up of NINES. I don't know if you're familiar with NINES and 18th Connect and MESA. So it's not just Big Diva, there's all these scholarly specific interfaces for searching. We have our own metadata schema. It is not a metadata for preservation. It is a metadata, it's RDF, for finding. And what that means is that we're a specific group of humanists, so we organize according to metadata categories that make sense to us for finding, genre, discipline, and format, which is just DC type. That's one interface. Wiki Commons is another. The more interfaces there are, the better. And the more special collections librarians know about these interfaces and can direct people to them, the better. But I don't think there's ever going to be one perfect system for making people able to find things. I also don't think special collections departments should feel like they have to do that alone. So, yeah.
Yeah, and just, Tim, my voice can carry the room, right? I fundamentally don't think that the research and reference services of any of our libraries can be just about what we hold. It's about the broader thing of facilitating use of primary sources to pursue the disciplines in which they can support. And so, but that's not a new idea. Back when I was doing reference and reader services, I think there was a strategy to kind of build out what were they trying to do, how could we help them here, and if we couldn't help them here, then how could we help them them beyond. But so, yeah, I think you're right.
We have time for one more question, so Jen.
So when I think about this issue, I tend to take the next step in my brain and think about the distinction between libraries and special collections serving our researchers versus libraries and special collections partnering with our researchers. And I think that's kind of the next bit of conversation here. And I just wonder what your thoughts are on that distinction. Is it real? Should we be doing that? What's going on there?
Yeah, so this is the sort of thing I suppose has sort of a twinkle in my eye of where we should go. I find it sort of slightly depressing that libraries at the moment, digitally anyway, feel very didactic. There's this sort of crust that sits over the top of them that you can access the material that we hold, but we don't break that crust open and let people record what they know about it. And I think that once I fix those problems, for us, not universally, this isn't we can do a good job, I think, for our users with our content. But then I'd like to sort of know how do we help people share what they know about our collections, what they contribute to it, so that we don't just hold knowledge, information, records that we acquire for whatever reason we acquire them, but also so that we can allow others to express their perspective around that. And that might be as simple as saying, you've used this work in this book, in this TV program, in this video game, in this exhibition, and being able to link to that. It might be more than that. It might be able to say, actually, I know something about it and I can share that knowledge.
If I could just speak to that as well, the obviously digital edition building of something in your collection, Texas A&M holds all the digital done material, all the done materials that were digitized. So partnerships like that, I think, are important. But there's also ESTC 21. So the English Short Title Catalog, held by the British Library, has built an interface that we're going to stand up for them at Texas A&M that allows researchers, and it will be researchers, who have so much information, like on their laptops, and who may die at any minute. We're all worried about this. It actually allows people to submit materials to the catalog records in the English Short Title Catalog. It doesn't reduce work for archives, it increases it because you have to vet it. But it does mean that, for instance, if there were some kind of another mode of partnering might be crowdsourcing, which Australian libraries are extraordinarily successful with, but crowdsourcing records so that people can submit information that they have about them, or even help organize them. I know that sounds horrifying to you, but some, quasi-correct organization may be better than none in terms of finding, at least temporarily. But everybody will see the ESTC 21 interface shortly, and then the British Library may adopt it permanently.
My soundbite on that very question is, I'm not ready to give up a service ethic in our field, in the broad sense of service. It's what we're here to serve society and culture. But I don't think we can have a ethos of being a servant in that. So, and in archivists used to be known as the handmaidens of history, right? And and I just think that the full partnership model is the right one.